to let everyone know that it's being recorded. Thank you very much, Ajay Imara. Really excited to have everybody join. We have two interesting speakers. We are privileged to have Adamba and Dr. Faryal with us as well, and all the others who have joined us. I'm really thankful. What we are going to talk about today is nourishing the soul with prayers and what we need to know about uh, du'as and Ramadan from a religious perspective. And we have Dr. Faryal who's going to talk about the physiological aspects of the effects of Ramadan on the body as well. So one is talking about nourishing the soul, the other one is talking about nourishing your body. So I think we've got a good combination here, and inshallah we will have question and answers. Just to let you know, you can ask on the chat, and at the end of the session also you can ask questions and answers if we have time, and I want to respect everybody's time here as well. So please, if you have questions, you can ask them in the chat, and Dr. Faryal will look at that as well. With that said, I want to hand it over to Adamba. Adamba, please go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear brothers, sisters, elders and children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah, I hope everybody is doing well. It's nice to see the big crowd here today and with the Dr. Faryal here, inshallah. I'll try to be brief about the spiritual part of our Ramadan. Last time we both fagal kari chuke hain, mashallah, panja people are aware of it. Alhamdulillah, I will just elaborate a little bit more about it. I will talk in English and Kachi बहुत कुला के last time भी request थी कि Kachi में भी गाल गए तो जो को मूला करे easy थे तो इंशाल्लाह वैसे तो मुझे mostly उर्दू में खासी गाल करे सका तो लेकिन anyhow I'll speak in Kachi and English inshallah. First I'll start with the Surah Qadr, which is in the 97th Surah of our Holy Quran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Wama adraka ma laylatul qadr. Laylatul qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. Tanazzalul malaikatu war-ruhu fiha bi'izni rabbihim min kulli amrin salam ya hatta matla'il fajr. And the meaning here, inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, ke Allah Pak के चेंदा के इन नात में लैलतुल कदर में आके ऐसा कुरान रिवील करासी पमा अदरा का मा लैलतुल कदर लैलतुल कदर कुरो है ई आके खबर ना है लैलतुल कदर खैरुम मिन अल्फ शहर ई वो रात है जो को is better than thousands of years. तनज़्ज़ुलुल मलाइकतु वर्रूह फ़ीहा बिइज़्नि रब्बिहिम. इन रात में अल्लाह पाक फरिश्ता जो दुनिया में आए था with Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, and they sent peace and blessing on all of us with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Laylatul Qadr, basically in the meaning जो को है, there are a lot of meanings here, but I will just brief here. Qadr means high esteem, dignity, glory, honor, destiny. Allah Pak ही रात कुला पाके रिनाई last time पा mention कराया वासी कि एकड़ी रात जी इबादत जो को अल्लाह ताला में हजारों रात जी इबादत जो पाके उनके सवाब पाके मिले तो this night comes like odd nights of the last ashra. Ashra means 10 मतलब Ramzan जो को महीना हुआ is divided in 3 ashras. The first ashra is finished, second ashra is almost going to finish, and third ashra is going to start. The third ashra में जो को है the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th और 29th. इनमें जैसी कोई भी रात जो को है लैलतुल कदर थी सके थी. Mostly पांच assumption ये वे तो कि 27th जो को है लैलतुल कदर जी रात है ने पांच जो को है ना एकड़ी रात मथे focus कहीं होता. But it is not true. It could be any night, 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th or 29th. Our Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the Ummul Mu'minin, she mentioned one time, Kana iza dakhala ashra शद्दही जर्राहू, मीनिंग ही है कि प्रोफेट सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम जॾहिं आख़िरी अशरो लास्ट अशरो अचींदो हो त ही यूज्ड टू टाइटन हिज वेस्ट. What does it mean basically? Like, you know, when you're going to fight somebody and you your sleeves uchi kare tan taiyar thi vinota. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ready for the last ashra, and he used to pray so much every night. He used to isolate himself. जी एतिकाफ़ है पाके मुझे ख़बर है एतिकाफ़ करो वे तो मस्जिद नबवी में जॾहिं बि हूंदा हुआ हिकिड़े टेंट बनाए ने अल्लाह जी सॼी राति इबादत कंदा हुआ दुआ मंगदा हुआ मग़फ़िरत मंगदा हुआ ही मग़फ़िरत जो अशरो आहे लास्ट अशरो आहे अल्लाह पाक वटि जेतिरी पाप जेतिरी माफ़ी मांगो पंहिंजे गुनाह जी जेको बि अल्लाह पाक गफ़ूर रहीम आहे इन राति में अल्लाह पाक पंहिंजी रहमत से मिणी के पाण खे माफ़ करे थो पंहिंजी हमेशह ही दुआ हुअणी खपे कि अल्लाह ताला पाक खे स्पेशली इन राति में जेको बि रातूं आहिनि इनमें अल्लाह ताला पाक खे इबादत करे जी तौफ़ीक़ ॾे. Consider every night as a Lailatul Qadr. Why? Because sometime for some people it may be a 21st tonight, but maybe some people it will be tomorrow. कुला के माण्हू different जेको वें था different कैलेंडर जे हिसाब से स्टार्ट कई था कोई ला करे 21st आज है कोई ला काल है लेकिन try to consider every night as a Lailatul Qadr. ने जितनी इबादत पाइन में कर सकूं अल्लाह ताला गफूरुर रहीम है अल्लाह ताला से कहता इन्नी अल्लाह गफूरुर रहीम अल्लाह ताला हर इंसान के इन रात में बख्शिश दे तो except there are few conditions there which we cannot go into right now. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam जो को है इन्हीं के खबर पी हुई कि ही नाइट को रो है. So when he was coming to tell the people, he saw two people were fighting, and all of a sudden he forgot which night it was. अल्लाह पाक इन मातासी चीज़ ई रात भुलाए छॾिया. हाणे एज्यूम करियो कि अगरि पाण खे ख़बर पई हुई कि हिकिड़ी राति है 7/27 है या 23rd है त पाण हुन राति मथे ख़ाली फोकस कया हुआसीं ने ॿी राति में इबादत न कया हुआसीं त अल्लाह पाक पाण खे अपॉर्चुनिटी ॾिनई कि पाण वी कैन इट्स ऑल अराउंड 21st 29 3rd सूंदी पाण पंहिंजी इबादत कयूं अल्लाह ताला जेतिरी पाण मग़फ़िरत जी दुआ करियूं एतिरी दुआ करे सघूं था एतिरी दुआ करियूं. स्पेशली दुआ जो है अल्लाहुम्मा अजिरनी मिनन नार या अल्लाह असांखे जहन्नम जी आग से बचाए ई स्पेशल ख़ास दुआ है जो पंहिंजे इनमें पढ़ाई वञे थी 27 रात या वॉट एवर पाँच जिन रात में इबादत कयूं था अल्लाहुम्मा इन्नका अफ़ून करीमुन तुहिब्बुल अफ़्व फ़अफ़ु अन्नी ई इबादत जी भी दुआ है पाई ॻाल्हि में शेयर करे आहियूं इन जे अलावा जेको नफ़ाफ़िल नफ़लूं आई फरहान बा के हलाए ॾिनो ई इंशाल्लाह से शेयर कंदा 21st जी 23rd जी 27 जेतिरी भी रातूं आहिनि जे डिफरेंट इबादत जी डिफरेंट नाफ़िल्स आहिनि अगर पाण खे जंहिंखे नथी अचे उहो आयतूं फॉर एग्जांपल इन ते अचे त ॿी कोई आयत तो जेको भी आयत अचे थी कुलो अल्लाह अचे थी पंहिंजे साफ़ दिल से ने नियत से इंसान पढ़े त अल्लाह पाला हर चीज़ कबूल करे तो ज़रूरी न है कि पाण खे उहो अची वे ने पाण आई आहे कि पाण खे नथी अचे त पाण ना करो. Obviously, there are some don'ts and do's, but these are the do's we are talking about. कि जितनी इनमें इबादत कयूं जितने खासी नेकी कयूं ये अड़ी चीज़ है इबादत है कि अल्लाह ताला इनमें पांजी मग़फ़िरत करे तो. I'll just give you a last thing कि अगर पा माशाल्लाह last 10 days जो कोई उम्रा ला करे विनो फॉर एग्जांपल मक्का या मदीना तो पाण खे ख़बर है कि रमज़ान जे महीने में जो every time is multiplied by 17. So if you praying in Khana Kaaba Makkah में Allah Ta'ala multiply every ibadat by 100 times. So imagine you are doing 70 times 100 times. And if you have the night of ibadah, which is Lailul Qadr, so it's thousands of times of ibadat, the Allah Ta'ala पाके सवाब पहुंचाइए था. कोशिश करो जेमते भी इंशाल्लाह नियत करे अल्लाह पाक के तौफीक दे ने हिम्मत भी दे कि रमज़ान जो आखिरी शुरू है इनमें नियत करियो कि अल्लाह पाक पाके तौफीक दे के रमज़ान जो आखिरी मक्का या मदीना मुनव्वरा में मदीना मुनव्वरा माशाल्लाह 50 टाइम्स है उड़ा विनू या मक्का में विनू तो ये दुआओं जितनी भी आई अल्लाह पाक पांजी मेरे कबूल करे. I'll make it short को लाके पांजे डॉक्टर फरियाल she is also there माशाल्लाह she is gonna cover the physical part of our माशाल्लाह रमज़ान जो है हिकिड़ी शेयर ॻाल्हि आख़िर में करेगी दोस्त है कि जॾहिं इंसान के अल्लाह पाक जॾहिं बनाया हुआ तो इंसान के मिट्टी जो बनाया हुआ तो मिट्टी जो को भी हज़रत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम जी मिट्टी जो को पी हुई इट वाज देयर फॉर hundreds of years but he could not move or do anything. जॾहिं सुधी अल्लाह पाक पिन में सोल न विधा तॾहिं हज़रत आदम अलैहिस्सलाम जो को है उबा थिया ने जीरा थिया. सो पंहिंजी बॉडी जो को इंसान जी है It consists of two parts. Last time ji pangal kaya wasi, you know, computer ji pange software and hardware. इसी तरह इंसान जी body जो को है, इनमें वो चीज़ों हैं मिट्टी ने soul रूह. तो इंसान जी मिट्टी जो को है, जो को पांजी body है, इन जी जो को expect जितनी भी चीज़ों हैं, इंशाल्लाह डॉक्टर फरियाल इन बातें गाल करींदा. ने रूह जो को है इंसान जी पा जो को ये अल्लाह पाक जो को पा इबादत तो कयूं था, ये पांजी एकड़ी the nutrition for our soul is ibadah, and nutrition for our body is Allah Pak zameen mein jaisi mitti mein jaisi banaya hai, you know, the fruit, the vegetables, and all these our needs are from the mitti. So these things are from mitti, and soul is from our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala panjeb mein halaya hai. तब आखिर पे दुआ कयूं तो अल्लाह पाक मिनी के पाके तौफीक दे, रमजान जे आखिरी अशरे में जितनी इबादत करे सकूं अल्लाह ताला कबूल करे, सच्चे दिल से कयूं. एंड पांजे दिल में कोई भी चीज वे कोई ला करे बुग्ज ना रखूं, मिनी ला करे प्यार मोहब्बत रखूं. इवन इफ यू आर स्माइलिंग, यू नो, अल्लाह पाक जो भी जो दिस इज अ सदका जारिया. हदीस शरीफ में आए कि इफ यू स्माइल एट योर पेरेंट्स, you know, you get a reward of one umrah. You don't have to fly from Toronto to Makkah or Medina. MashaAllah, itro sawab hai if you smile at your parents. So those people who are lucky to have their parents alive, MashaAllah, try your best to behave nicely and unhi ji khidmat kare upon your parents and get reward by sitting here. Even you don't have to go to Makkah or Medina. I'm not saying don't go there, but you could go inshallah, and you can get thousands of years of reward by just being nice with your parents. अल्लाह पाक आखिर दुआ कयूं था अल्लाह पाक फरहान भाई जो को कोशिश करे इनमें बड़े कामयाबी दे. आमीन. जज़ाकल्लाह खैर. अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
Adam Bhatti, thank you very much. That was a wonderful, wonderful topic and well said. आने मुके आ खबर है कुल तुम्हारे स्माइल का तो
माशाअल्लाह.
जितनी दुआ कबूल थी. आमीन. You know, Nepa, I think it is important panji jitra family zai Allah ni ke mari ke बरकत दे. जितना बीमार हैं यानी के शिफा दे. You know, panja yeah, family members हैं, you know, jamaat members हैं, they are going through a lot, you know, emotionally. We are going through also sicknesses. May Allah give them shifa, patience through all this, and accept their duas as well. I mean, with that said, I want to welcome Dr. Faryal. And I'm sure we are expecting your family also to join us from, apart from Farida by here, also your extended family joining us. That was you mentioned. So we, you know, if they are on, we welcome them heartily. And if they are coming on, then let us know. So Faryal, over to you.
Thank you so much. So assalamu alaikum to everybody. I really appreciate this invitation, this platform. It's really wonderful to see everyone. It's been quite a while, I think, that I have actually seen or spoken to many of you. And it's really heartwarming to be back. Shukran jazilan, Adam Uncle, for the beautiful pearls of wisdom. Very, very touching. So I really appreciate that. And I'm blessed not only to be here and to be able to receive that wonderful wisdom from you with everyone, but I'm actually 2 hours away from Medina. Alhamdulillah. So I'm in Saudi Arabia, for those of you who don't know, and I've been mostly in South Africa for many, many years, practicing there with my husband, and then I've been in Dubai, and now I sort of go between Dubai and Saudi to see my patients. And I'll just give everyone a little brief on what I do. But before I do that, I just want to see if I can share my screen, because I created a presentation for all of you on the topic today, and just hoping that you guys can see this, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I just want to, let's go back. Okay, so if anybody has any questions or anything that they'd like to contribute, more than welcome to do so, but perhaps just put it in the chat group. We're gonna have a question and answer towards the end. Also, I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'll explain to everyone what that means in a second. I've been in practice going on 17 years now. And, you know, it's kind of the nature of the beast I'm going to get a little bit technical with some of, oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Can everybody still see? Yeah, my connection is a little bit sketchy. So if there's an issue, please let me know. So as I was saying, I do get a little bit technical. So if there's something you didn't understand, if it's a bit too technical, just bear with me, we'll explain it. And Farhan, maybe you can also here and there, you can let me know if you want to kind of reiterate something in Kachi, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that everybody can have the benefit. Okay, so as a naturopathic doctor, basically I practice natural medicine, which means I only use natural therapies and natural medicines. And the premise of the way that I practice is very different from conventional medicine in that I'm always looking to look for the root cause of whatever the ailment is. So it's root cause medicine, meaning that I don't give a pill or a drug that's made from a chemical for every single ill. We don't work on the premise of, a pill for every ill, because we really believe that if someone is having an ongoing issue, there's an underlying reason for it, and we have to treat that underlying reason. So just as an example, if you had a stone in your shoe, like a pebble in your shoe, and you're walking around, it's going to be really hard after a while to continue to walk around comfortably, and you might start having pain in your foot. And after many days, that pain is going to start radiating up the leg. So most people, if they go see their doctor, and I'm just saying this conventionally, the thinking would be just take a painkiller, right? The pain is no longer there. If the pain is no longer there, then it's fine, right? You don't have to worry about it. That means the problem is gone. But has the problem really gone away? Problem is probably still there because the pebble is still in the shoe. So this is where I come in, is to figure out, well, what's the problem? The problem is you've got this irritating thing that's causing pain. So the correct thing, the intelligent thing would be to remove the pebble, and then the pain goes away. Similarly, in naturopathic medicine, we don't use chemicals. We use things that come from nature to stimulate the body's ability to heal itself. And we never suppress some of the body's first line defenses. So in conventional medicine, if you have headaches, the thinking is, let's stop the headache. If you have a fever, let's stop the fever. If you have diarrhea or a runny tummy, let's stop the runny tummy or the diarrhea. If you've got, tonsillitis, let's stop the tonsillitis infection. But what needs to be appreciated is that these are all ways that the body is sending us messages and working. It's such an intricate and wise machine to get rid of whatever is bothering the body. So in naturopathic medicine, up to a certain point, please take this with a grain of salt, up to a certain point, we want to support these processes. We never want to stop or suppress them, because when the body has a fever, the idea is that the temperature has been risen as high as it can. Why? To kill the virus or the bacteria or whatever pathogen or infectious element is in the body, and to get rid of it. If you're having a runny tummy and diarrhea, same thing, the body is trying to get rid of it. So we want to support those processes. So I just wanted to give you a distinction so that you can appreciate where I'm coming from. I love conventional doctors. They all have their place, definitely, in our healthcare. But I think when it comes to chronic disease and when it comes to certain things that, we can really look to nature, we can even look to our kitchen for things that are in our kitchen that can help us to overcome these things in a safe, effective way without side effects, but actually with side benefits. That's what I usually tell people. So let's get into the presentation. I am going to talk today about the health benefits, the physical health benefits of fasting during Ramadan. And there are many, many, many health benefits, but I'm going to focus on the top 6 today because I think these are really important. And I hope that everybody will, be able to just grasp what I'm saying. Again, if you're confused about something, please ask a question. Farhan, just interrupt when you want to interject and translate. So we know that fasting is, something that has been practiced by many, many traditions, by certain religions, and it's been ordained for us as Muslims, not just for its spiritual benefits of connection with God, the idea of taqwa or God consciousness. And, Adam Uncle really beautifully explained why fasting is important from a spiritual point of view. But, our faith is so intelligent that this has also been ordained for us because we're supposed to treat our body as a temple and we're supposed to take care of it. And this is one of the ways that we can actually help ourselves to regain health and to protect ourselves from disease. So what actually happens in the body when we're fasting? First of all, when you start fasting at about 8 hours into the fast, all your glucose stores are used up. So the body runs on sugar. It runs on glucose normally as the fuel source. Once we are not eating carbohydrates, and when I say carbohydrates, I mean pastries, samosas, rice, potatoes, cookies, cakes, all these lovely things, we then don't have any more glucose. And so when that happens, the body then starts to tap into our fat reserves to start using the fat as fuel. Okay, so this is a good thing. Detoxification occurs, it's a cleansing. So the body has the ability now, because the digestive organs have been able to rest for so many hours without constantly breaking down food and trying to assimilate and trying to get rid of toxins, they can kind of relax and rejuvenate themselves. And so they can get rid of toxins that have been hidden for a long time. We will have lowered inflammation and other markers of disease, which I'll talk more about. We have genes that can be turned on that can increase our lifespan. It's called longevity. There's a higher sense of well-being, mental clarity and sharpness, and enhanced brain function after you've reached a certain point in the fasting. I've been reading about athletes, for example, Muslim athletes who play basketball or who play football or soccer, who actually they say that they play much better when they're in a fasted state because their performance increases and their mental clarity increases. Fasting can also help us with our moods after a certain point. So the first few days are always hard, but once you get into the second half of Ramadan, we will start to see a shift in these endorphins that are released, and these are our happy chemicals, okay? So suhoor and iftar allow for replenishment of nutrients and energy sources, but all of these benefits that we're talking about, you're only going to reap the benefits. You're only going to maximize on these if you watch what you eat and how you eat when you are replenishing your nutrient stores. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, but the idea is we need to use this time to get into better health and nutrition habits. And we don't want to be breaking our fast with processed foods, junk foods, fast foods, foods that are highly inflammatory, sodas, all these kinds of things that actually then just end up canceling the benefits of the fast in the first place. So that's really important. So number one benefit I'm going to talk about, just bear with me, is called autophagy or autophagy. What autophagy means, it's a Greek word and it means self-eating. So don't worry, it doesn't mean that the body starts eating itself. That's not what it means. What it means is that this is now a time, as I mentioned before, that the body is really able to do a deeper self-cleaning, almost like a spring cleaning. When you spring clean your house, you really go into all the cupboards and the deep areas of the cupboards and corners, and you try to get rid of stuff and you move furniture and you sweep underneath. So this is almost like a professional maid service that comes in finally, because now it doesn't have to worry about breaking down food and digesting it and figuring out what the body should keep and what the body should get rid of. So we can actually really do a proper mopping up and cleaning out. And so damaged cells are removed, harmful and diseased cells are actually destroyed, but they are broken down to use parts, like if you break apart a car or a computer, and then you use those parts to build a new car or a computer, it's the same thing. So new cells are made, cells are recycled, cells behaving badly are destroyed. And so you get an anti-aging effect, the skin looks brighter and younger. And basically we are rejuvenating our cells into more youthful, newer cells. Okay, so this is the number one benefit of maintaining the fast, because you have to have fasted for about 12 hours before this process actually starts kicking in. Are there any questions or any comments? Farhan, do you want to say anything at this point?
No, so I think, for us who are in the upper hemisphere, we fast at least 15 hours or so. So we're definitely kicking in into multiple levels of benefits here.
For sure.
Thank
And
you very
that's
much.
the point. So yeah, so the reason I'm bringing all of this is to be able to help us all, myself included, appreciate, that when it's difficult and challenging to fast. For me, for example, here in Saudi, it can be difficult because of the heat. I am sitting at 45 degrees already daily, okay, and it's going to get worse. We go up to 50 degrees here in the summer. So if you're outside, if you're outdoors, running errands, it's very difficult. But then if I remind myself of these benefits, it motivates me to just keep going and appreciate what my body is doing to keep me healthy and to protect me from disease and also to help me age gracefully, right? So benefit number 2, lowering of biomarkers. Many of you probably already know this. So this is important to say that if you are a diabetic or you've got any kind of cardiovascular problem, please ensure that you have been cleared to fast. But what I will say, and if you have questions about this later, you can please message me. I have been able to reverse many people's issues with blood sugar levels who are on insulin, who are on oral hypoglycemic medications like metformin, glucophage, whatever, and cholesterol medications by supervising them while they're fasting. Because what happens during the fast, as I said, is all of the glucose stores are used up. The whole point of diabetes is that there's too much sugar in the blood. So you're taking a medication to be able to bring down those sugar levels and get it out of the body. The other problem is there's too much insulin. Insulin is a hormone that breaks down the glucose. So if you've eaten a samosa or some rice or a potato, insulin is sent by the pancreas to break down that sugar into glucose and send it into the cells so the cells can use it for fuel. But if you're not eating, what's going to happen? There's no need for the pancreas to release more insulin. So naturally, insulin levels go down. And this is why I'm saying, please, if you have any of these conditions, you can still safely fast under the supervision of your health practitioner, because you will have to adjust your medications. You cannot continue to take the same dosage of your blood sugar medications or your cholesterol medications, because you're naturally going to bring them down through this process. So you have to adjust the medication, okay? So I just want to put that out there. But what happens after the fast is that we have this beautiful ability for your insulin to work better, because the pancreas has gone on vacation.
Anji kaki. Kenji. Falmina ji. Faryal Luhar. Falmina ji na. Falmina ji kaki jo na falmina.
Okay.
Falmina ji ma.
I think we just need to mute the new participants. And so insulin is then able to do a better job because the pancreas has gone on vacation and it comes back rejuvenated because it doesn't have to keep working. And you're able to now help with improving your insulin sensitivity. So inflammation is also lowered, and inflammation is the beginning of all chronic disease. Okay, let me say it again. Inflammation is the beginning of all chronic disease, and fasting is one of the best ways to lower inflammation. Okay, so let's talk about fasting benefit number 3. And this is something many of you might not have heard of before. All right, and it's called growth hormone. Growth hormone. So this is a hormone that's released from our brain, especially when we're growing. It's highest when we're about to reach adolescence. And as we get older, up to the age of 20, it's at its highest. It's really important for growth. It's responsible for our metabolic rate. What does that mean? That means the rate that your body is able to use food for energy, calories for energy, and also get it out of the body when it's working. And it helps you to stay slim. It helps you to stay, at a healthy weight. So it's responsible for your muscle mass. It's responsible for your joints, your bones, bone density, because this is what helps the bones to grow. So very, very important, but it decreases with age. So after age 30, unfortunately, growth hormone declines 15% for every decade, right? So by the age of 40 to 50, you have another 15% decline, and it goes on and on. And this is why when we get older, we start to get more body fat, especially around the middle. We lose muscle mass. We don't feel as strong. We start to feel weaker. And we also have problems with what we call cognitive or brain function. So this is the brain's ability to think and to actually execute certain functions, because growth hormone helps with this. Now, I should point out that growth hormone is released in the deep stage of sleep every night. So one of the best ways to help you to make sure you're releasing growth hormone is what? Make sure you're getting good sleep. And this is one of the things during Ramadan that can become problematic, because some of us are staying up quite late to eat and things like this. I just want to show you this little, this is one example on the left of studies that have been done, where you can see the graph on the left here. You've got this pulsatile increase of this growth hormone at night, okay, daily. It's just on a regular day when someone is eating their regular meals. But when you're fasting, look how many times growth hormone is released, right? Fasting, actually, it's a bit of a stress on the body. And so the body's response is to produce more growth hormone. So we have this excessive secretion or production of growth hormone, which then increases our metabolic rate, helps us to burn fat more, and it preserves our bones and it preserves our lean muscle mass. So this is really important, because especially for women, as we get older after menopause, there's a higher risk for osteoporosis. And fasting is one of the best ways to protect yourself from that. Should I continue? Would you like to interject?
I think you can. This is really good information for most of us.
Yeah, I'm sorry about these little scratches on the screen. I don't know what that is. If you see them, I have no idea why that's pretty, but anyway. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Again, encouraging people to write down your questions if you have any, and we will answer them at the end. So let me get on to benefit number 4. Okay, this is all about fat loss and weight loss, and who doesn't want that? I don't think there's a single person that's on this chat today that isn't excited about this and has probably experienced this every year that you fast, inshallah, hopefully. So again, the reason for this is because as you fast past the 8-hour mark, your body is depleted, not only of the sugars that are circulating within the system in your bloodstream, but the liver. Our liver has the ability to store glucose for us in case there's a famine, or in case there's some starvation period, or we're fasting. And so what happens is the liver also gets used up for all of its stored glucose called glycogen. So what happens now? Now the body and the brain need fuel, because without fuel, we can't continue. We can't even stand up. So the brain says, okay, what else can we use for fuel? Oh, lots of fat. We have all these beautiful fat pockets all over the body that this person doesn't really need. And it starts to break down the fat, and then it uses the fat for fuel. And this is the beauty of fasting, that as long as you honor the fact that you are to eat nourishing foods, your body will start to get rid of fat, which is going to give you a healthy body composition. We never want to lose weight where we're losing muscle mass or breaking down protein, because all our organs are made of protein, our muscles are made of protein. We never want to lose protein, because this is our vitality. What we want is to lose the fat, because this is unhealthy, it's inflammatory, and it is the precursor to many conditions. But again, you're only going to reap these benefits if you're careful about what you eat, when you're able to eat during the eating window. So on the left, I have here the 10 best and worst foods that you can have, which I would really like people to take a picture of this, or make a mental note of it, because interestingly, all of the foods that help you to break down fat are also the same foods that increase your lifespan. Right? I spoke earlier about how we're able to turn on our genes. We have the genes, we have the blueprint, but our lifestyle is like a switch, like a light switch, which can turn on if we give it the right environment and the right nutrients. And so we can turn on our longevity genes to live longer. So I really encourage people to please stay away from the foods that say the worst on this image. Which I think a lot of us are doing throughout the year, probably too much of. And this is a good time to start really allowing the body and encouraging the body to get rid of these unhealthy foods that, by the way, cause cancer as well. But you can start introducing foods under the best category and eat more of those. So I'll just give an example. When I break my fast, I always first, after eating 2 dates, and praying, I will have water with lemon or lime. Then I will have a fruit that is high in water, watermelon, pineapple, grapefruit. This is what I first break my fast with. You can also break your fast. Yesterday, I had a soup, a beautiful soup with, you can use some kind of broth, bone broth or what have you. So we want it to be something light and something that's hydrating. Because remember, we haven't drank water for 14, 15, 16 hours. Some countries longer than that. And we need to replenish the water into our body in small amounts as we start eating. Then I wait an hour. After the hour, then I eat my food, which is basically dinner. It's nothing extravagant. I know that we have this cultural thing, that I grew up with as well, where when we're fasting, every day is a feast at iftar. Every day we are, cooking all these amazing foods, fried foods and pastries, and all the beautiful stuff comes out, and we don't see it again until the next Ramadan, right? It's understandable that people want to enjoy breaking the fast. And yes, fasting certainly has a social element that is very, very positive. But I just want to invite people to think about the fact that if you're doing that every night, we're kind of defeating the purpose of all of these benefits. Okay, so just think about that. It's not to say you can't indulge and enjoy some nice foods, but we shouldn't be overdoing it. We shouldn't be overindulging. We shouldn't be eating all through the night, and we should really focus on foods that are gonna feed our body and give it the nutrients that it needs. So OMAD, O-M-A-D at the bottom here stands for 1 meal a day. And I don't know if people are, doing that naturally at this time. I am. That's what we need to do. It should be an idea of 1 meal, 1 hearty meal a day, because there are tons and tons of studies showing us that if you eat 1 meal a day, that's not to say you can't have a couple of snacks or drinks or whatever, you are going to decrease your chance of getting cancer by 70%, 70%. As opposed to eating 3 to 6 meals a day. If you eat 1 meal a day, you also turn on those longevity genes. So at suhoor, I know a lot of people are eating big meals. Just think about it. How much do you really need to feed your body to sustain itself for the fast? Okay, I'm just inviting people to think about it.
So does
number 5 is
Faryal,
yes.
So does 1 long meal a day work? Because what happens is a lot of us do break fast and it just extends, right? So
yeah, this is the thing, right? And I've talked about this so often all of these years, Farhan, because especially in the part of the world where I'm here at the moment, in Dubai and in the Saudi Arabia, I'm so sorry to say, but the amount of wastage of food that I see when people are eating at restaurants, when they're going out to eat at iftar, I kind of think, well, what's the point of you fasting and then wasting all this food? Because you should only eat what you're going to finish, number 1. Number 2, I don't need to say this. I'm certainly not the expert here. Many of you and Adam Uncle will probably agree, you know, we've got to follow the rule of the 1/3 food, 1/3 beverage, 1/3 air, right? Still got to follow that rule. There's wisdom behind that. Thirdly, when I say meal, I'm talking about a full meal. You can have a good full meal, but the rest of the time it should be small bite size, like fruits, salad, vegetables, nuts, you know, with yogurt, something like that. I think people would be surprised how little they really need to not only survive, but to thrive, but it does take some practice to do that. Number 5 is about brain health. So important. We don't really think about this one much, but there's been tons of studies talking about even intermittent fasting, which is kind of similar to what we do, because you're basically not eating for 16 hours. And then your window of eating is 8 hours. The only difference is what we do is a dry fast. So we're not allowed to drink, but other people who do intermittent fasting can drink certain kinds of beverages. And what's been found is that the brain undergoes something called intermittent metabolic switching. So this is kind of, it creates a bit of a stress for the brain and the body, but in that stress, we have benefits. And the benefits are that it teaches the cells to develop new pathways to deal with cellular stress. We have a protein in the brain called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, for any of the nerds listening in today, BDNF. This is a really, really powerful protein that we make in our brain all the time, that's meant to stimulate the growth of new brain cells and nerve cells. So any neurological disorder, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's disease, any of these things, even simple stuff like being forgetful, thinking, you know, your memory is failing you more and more. You forget things easily. You walk into a room, you don't know why you went in there, you know, things like that. Or having difficulty concentrating, having difficulty with focus. All of these things are governed by this particular protein. And when we fast, we make more of this protein. So what happens? Your learning and your memory capacity increases dramatically, right? Let me say that again. Your learning and your memory capacity increases dramatically. So I've heard a lot of elderly people say, oh, I'm too old to learn anything new. That is so untrue, because your brain is consistently trying to create new, what we call synapses, new connections with the neurons and the brain cells. So it's actually the best time at the age of 60 or so to learn a new language, to you know, do puzzles, to learn a musical instrument, to do something different. But when you fast, you're able to do this much more. And after fasting ends, the brain continues to create new brain cells. So this is really exciting. It also clears out proteins which contribute to these diseases that I spoke about, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And other studies are showing us that after a certain period of fasting, there is an alteration of the chemicals in the brain. So there is this antidepressant, anti-anxiety effect, because the brain starts to release chemicals that are more calming, you know, naturally help us to feel calmer, but at the same time to elevate our mood, and it optimizes and sharpens the brain function. So this is another beautiful benefit of how we can protect ourselves from brain health issues in the future. And then lastly, reduction in cancer. So this is a big one, because unfortunately, with all of the advances in technology and with all of the research and the medical progress that we've made over the decades, unfortunately, the rates of cancer continue to increase. And so we have to ask ourselves why. Why is this? Why is cancer on the rise? There used to be a time where, you know, you barely knew someone closely related to you who had cancer. Now, literally everyone in their family can say, I have a family member who has or has had or has survived cancer or died from it, right? So it begs the question, what is going on? And there are a lot of reasons for this. Of course, lifestyle in this modern day world is contributing majorly. Us being overly connected to our digital devices is another problem. But, you know, when we talk about all of the toxins that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, from pollution to toxins in food, pesticides, herbicides, and even toxic thoughts, right? This is the beginning of cancer, and cancer starts when your body is inflamed. And so fasting for as little as 3 days, I mean, this is amazing. Fasting for as little as 3 days has wondrous effects on the immune system, because the immune system becomes sharper at doing its job. And the point of the immune system, besides defending you from bad guys, is to go and look for cells that are behaving badly, right? The immune system patrols the body constantly. We all have cancer cells in us all the time. How come some of us get cancer and some of us don't? How come some of us who get cancer are able to respond to treatment and others of us succumb? It's because our immune system is the key. And so if you've got a strong immune system that's robust, it's going to be able to identify cells that are misbehaving much faster and destroy them, get rid of them, and say, you're behaving badly, get out of here. You don't need to be here, because we want to keep this body healthy. And it also produces something called stem cells, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. These are our, basically, you know, the beginning of our cells, and then they differentiate to become a liver or a kidney or an eye cell or a skin cell. So this helps to create more white blood cells to deal with any infection that's happening. So many of us have been sick and didn't even know we were sick because our immune system was taking care of it. How many people have we heard of that have had COVID now and didn't even know they had COVID? They had no symptoms because their immune system was dealing with it and they didn't even realize, right? So when we're fasting, because we're not eating food and we're certainly not eating toxins, the body is able to do what I spoke about at the beginning, autophagy, right? It's full circle, spring cleaning, getting rid of things that are growing that shouldn't be there. And so tumors start to shrink. Tumors start to shrink because the insulin and the sugars are what the tumor cells feed on. Okay, please remember that. Anybody who has a loved one who's struggling with cancer, the first thing they need to do, which I tell all of my patients, they have to get off sugar, because this is what the cancer cells are using to be able to thrive and to multiply and to continue to grow the tumor, and then that tumor starts to spread. Get rid of the sugar. So there's no sugar, there's no insulin, and we're eating hopefully healthy foods that are antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. And the body has been able to clear out. It's been able to clear out some of this stuff because we're fasting. So there's increased DNA repair. DNA is our genetic material in our cells, and we're constantly damaging our DNA. So when we fast, we start to be able to repair the DNA. And what I found really interesting, and I hope you all do too, is that anyone who has to do chemotherapy, chooses to do chemotherapy, there's tons of research now showing that if you fast for a number of hours before the chemotherapy, the body will respond better to the chemotherapy. Because why? You see, the cancer cells are not getting what they need. They're not getting the sugar, they're not getting the glucose, they're not getting the toxins. This is what they thrive on. So they're starving. But fasting protects our healthy cells, okay? What happens is, as soon as you get an IV drip of a chemo, those cancer cells get excited and they just drink it all up. They take in all of the chemo, not realizing that that chemo is meant to kill the cancer cell. So the cancer cells are more sensitive to chemotherapy under a fasted state, while the healthy normal cells are actually conserved and protected. So I really hope that all of this is motivating for all of us. I hope you guys learned something different that you may not have known before. As I said, there are many other benefits. These are just, for me, the top 6, you know, because these are what are the huge epidemic that we're having of diseases and problems in our society and in our world today. And, you know, 1400 years ago, the Holy Quran summarized all of these benefits in a very simple and powerful statement. fasting is good for you if you only knew. So inshallah, I hope that the remainder of this Ramadan will be very, very prosperous and fruitful for all of us, and we'll take benefit of having understood what is happening in the body and in the mind during the fast. And, you know, again, let's use this time. I really feel like this is a great time to press that reset button and to recalibrate and just, you know, start getting sort of returning to good health habits and to good lifestyle habits, and then maintaining them, inshallah, after the Ramadan. So I thank you for your attention, and you know, I'm happy to answer questions if there are any.
So Dr. Faryal,
Or
thank you
any
so
comments.
much. Thank you so much for that presentation. Very enlightening at multiple levels, right? So there are one or two questions that I'll go through, but my question to you is, you know, I mean, we've been told too much of anything is bad. So too much of fasting, you know, I mean, again, with us also, it's sunnah to fast, you know, twice a week. Anything above and beyond that, or doing it daily, do you think there's a risk?
So that's a kind of a layered question, in the sense that if you're generally healthy, I think that it's actually a good practice to get into. So I myself, as a doctor, tell my patients to do intermittent fasting as a regular practice, a couple of days a week, right? Just to be able to, it's like cleaning house, as I said before. However, if you are somebody who has a health condition and you're on medications and, you know, there are other complications, you need to be supervised and you need to be cleared for fasting, because it can be dangerous. We don't want people going into diabetic crises and fainting and all kinds of things. If you've had your gallbladder removed, you know, you're not able to deal properly with fasting. So there's ways around it, but I think that generally, I mean, I intermittent fast all the time, you know, twice a week or so.
Okay, thank you. So let me just go through the questions, and then once we've gone through this, then we can ask whoever wants to ask questions on the call, they can do that. So so one of the, you know, again, lots of praises for your presentation. Everyone's really enjoyed it. Some of them were asking if they could have a copy of the presentation. So
Sure.
oh,
Send it
excellent,
through.
thanks. So there's a question here from Alamin asking, you know, he's having rosuvastatin, which is a statin, daily. Maybe he should stop it during Ramadan. So that's a question.
Okay, so let me address that. You cannot stop it. What you have to do first, yeah, please guys, what I'm giving is general information here. Generally, everybody is going to benefit from this information. I am not an advocate of statins. I'll say that right off the bat, because I think statins should not be prescribed for every single case. There are lots of wonderful natural medicines, dietary things that we can do to reduce cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol is very, very, very important for our body. All right, please understand that it's critical for our body, and all of our hormones are made from cholesterol. But there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol. So naturally, I've treated many people using natural medicines to bring down their cholesterols, and then they've been able to reduce the dosage of their statin drugs. The other problem is that statins rob the body of a lot of nutrients. They rob the body of B vitamins. They rob the body of a very important nutrient called coenzyme Q10. So many people who've been on statins for a long time will maybe start, it's called the memory thief. They start to lose, you know, they forget things very easily. They can't remember things for a long time. They start to have muscle aches and pains. Their liver starts to get damaged. So the problem with the statin prescription is that when a doctor prescribes statins, they never tell you when you can get off. You know, we shouldn't be on these medications for years and years and years. Once the medication has done what it's supposed to do, then you should be able to wean off. So it's a topic for another day, but just to quickly answer, you need to check, you know, you need to take your medications. You will probably end up reducing the dosages very slowly. You need to be supervised if you want to wean off your cholesterol, but fasting is a great way to reset that whole thing.
Thank you.
That was great. And again, like you said, you have to make sure if you're going to stop any medications, check in with your doctors first, because again, like you said, there's a cycle that may have to be finished before you can wean off those medicines. So there's another question here. Some people have difficulties in swallowing food. I mean, what could be the cause of that, and if there's any treatment towards that?
Swallowing food.
Yes, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so we have to figure out why, right? As I said at the beginning, why are we having trouble swallowing food? Is there some kind of obstruction? What is going on? You know, there are also very many mental, emotional reasons that people start to have this feeling of something stuck in their throat, and it's coming from some mental, emotional trauma or issue that needs to be addressed. So I can't answer that, unfortunately, because we need to understand why. So of course you can do very liquidy types of foods, soups, broths, you know, smoothies, juices, those kinds of things will still give you lots of amazing nutrients as long as you're using good quality organic produce.
Thank you. Again, lots of praises going all the way down for your comments and your presentation. Here's one from Dr. Fauzia Keval, and she's asking, what do you think of a water fast? And she's read about its benefits, like a 3-day fast.
Yeah, so I've done a water fast for 48 hours here and there. It's very difficult in the beginning. You have to get your body used to this kind of thing. And the first time you do it, you need to be supervised. I would not be encouraging anybody to do a water fast without being supervised by their medical practitioner who is open to this. Okay, a lot of conventional doctors will just think it's kind of crazy. So the idea behind a water fast is you're not eating anything, you're not drinking anything, you're just having water as often as you need with some electrolytes. You need to have potassium, you need to have sodium. These are so important for our heart and for our muscles and our brain. And you can sometimes have herbal teas, which is just the herbal tea, like a green tea or peppermint tea in hot water, no sugar, no milk. You can have black coffee as long as it's quality filtered coffee, not instant coffee, and that's all. Okay, and then after you've done it for 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, then you start to feel the benefits. So if you've done it before, great, you can start off with 24 hours as a beginning, but I would recommend that somebody should know that you're doing this so they can monitor you, because you can have a reaction, right? The body's not used to this. Actually, Ramadan is probably a really good way to transition into a water fast if you really wanted to.
Excellent. Thank you. So we've gone through all the questions that are written. Now I will ask the members on the call here, if anybody wants to ask a question to Dr. Faryal, you can do that. Let's do it one at a time like before. There's reactions here. Maybe if you put a thumbs up or raise your hand so I can see you, and I will ask you to go ahead and ask the question. So you have to be on video for me to see your hand up, or, you know, again, if you don't want to be on video, there's a button at the bottom called reactions where you can raise your hand. I see the first hand raised with Shakir Abbas. Shakir, go ahead.
Faryal, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Nice to hear you and see you, Shakir uncle.
It's good to get a lot of information from you. I really appreciate and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you more knowledge so you can come up back to us and give us all the requirement what we have to do. My question is, the conversion medication what we take and the natural homeopathy what medicine, does it collide?
So the simple answer is yes. Okay. There's a difference between homeopathy and naturopathic medicine. Naturopathy is an umbrella that covers homeopathy. But homeopathy is its own discipline, but we also do homeopathic. So I do homeopathic, Chinese medicine, Western herbal medicine, Ayurvedic, right? It's a bunch of different things. And the simple answer is absolutely. There's a misconception that just because it's natural, it means it's safe. You have to respect these medicines, even if they're coming from nature, because they're still telling the body to do something. And if you're taking a natural medicine, let's say for depression, and you take a Prozac or something else for depression, you're going to have a serious interaction, and it can be an emergency. We don't want to do that. So this is why you should see someone who is well-versed in both to be able to guide you on what you need to do. But there are many medicines that can work well. You don't have interactions. It all depends on the situation.
Thank you for the answer. I really appreciate that.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Long time.
And anybody else who has any questions? Let us know.
Or comment if if you didn't like understand something, or you need more clarity, or you like something that you heard of, or you didn't like it. I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, so there's a comment here from someone saying that, especially during Ramzan, their cravings for sugary foods reduces, which, is great. It's a comment that's there.
Yeah, so that speaks to exactly what this presentation is about and what's happening in the body, right? So that's fantastic. So inshallah, we want to kind of take that into the future after Ramadan, because unfortunately sugar is the death of all of us, especially if it's refined sugar. So there are healthier forms of sugar. I can quickly touch on that if anybody wants to know. So in my house, you will never find white sugar. I only use coconut sugar, or I use jaggery, which you all know, gur, or I use raw honey. It has to be raw, or raw cane sugar. So it's never white sugar.
Interesting. That's good to know. Some people have to clean up their kitchen.
Yeah, a lot of us do. We all have to clean up our diets for sure.
So, you know what? I mean, based on the reaction we've seen here from everyone, Dr. Faryal, we would really, really appreciate if you can come back again and talk on different topics, because there were suggestions on other people wanting to hear about different topics. So I hope you're open to that. And, the community would love to see you again and get you back here again on talking on different topics.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure. I would be more than happy to contribute back to my community and to share with you everything I've been doing over the past 17 years, inshallah. And hopefully this can expand, beyond Toronto as it has. I thank the people who've come from other places to be here. I would really love to know what topics people are interested in, because it's for you. These sessions are for you. So please, feel free to list and send Farhan whatever topics you're interested in. I think there's 2 more questions. I thought something about monk fruit, which I was going to mention, but I didn't want to, go too far off. So I use monk fruit as well. Monk fruit is one of the best sweeteners that comes from a plant. It is from Southeast Asia, and it basically is no calorie, and it's very, very, very low, if at all, has any carbohydrates in it. So it's a very wonderful way to sweeten things, especially anybody who's busy or interested in the ketogenic diet. We use it quite a bit.
That's fantastic.
Are there 2 hands up here?
Yes,
3 hands.
I see one from Alamin and Umihani. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Farhan, a suggestion, if I may, inshallah, after the pandemic is all done, and after that, if the doctor is going to be in Toronto, it'll be nice to arrange an in-person session on a topic of interest. That'll be great to hear. She's very well spoken, very knowledgeable, and we have all learned so much from you. Thank you so much.
And we are blessed.
Asante sana to all of you. Yes.
Yeah. And we are blessed that she's part of our community too. So,
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing.
Yes. Adamba, go ahead.
Okay, Jazakallah, Dr. Faryal. MashaAllah, it was a very, very informative session. And as Faryal said, we are proud of you. You know, you are from our community member, and Alhamdulillah, very, very happy to see you in this position. You know, everything you said, MashaAllah, was excellent, very informative. All 6 things you mentioned. And if you look at these things, whatever, MashaAllah, Dr. Faryal mentioned, it reflects the life of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Sahaba Kram, how they used to eat the food, you know. So Alhamdulillah, our deen has also explained us not only the spiritual part, but also the physical aspect of it. And mashallah, Dr. Faryal has explained very well. Jazakallah.
Jazakumullah khairan. Yeah, I wanted to mention that this is actually the Prophet's medicine, which is the beauty of naturopathic medicine. You know, when I started in college, this is a postgraduate degree, and every time I would learn something, I'd be like, wow, this is exactly what Islam says. Like, it's just beautiful, the parallels, you know. So I'm very grateful.
Thanks. We have another hand up here. Shakir Abbas again. You're on mute. If you can unmute. Yeah. We can hear you. Oh, no, you went back on mute.
Am I? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. There are 2 things I want to say. Number one, everybody is requesting for the presentation, so we'd like to hear about that. And my second thing is to our community. Doctor said a lot of stuff, nice thing. Let's follow it up. Let's give her encouragement that yes, what she said, we practice. So when we talk to her next time, we have a feeling that yes, we followed what she taught. It's not just she comes here, we see her on the screen, and that's all.
I agree with you. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it is every individual's responsibility to take the advice given. And I think we have very good advice. And plus in Ramadan, you know, we are fasting. So I think it makes it a lot easier to go further after Ramzan and continue with intermittent fasting, especially those who have, you know, diabetes and other ailments that can be assisted with fasting. So for sure, it makes it a lot, the transition is a lot easier.
Yeah, but it's not only about the fasting, but it's also about taking a nice food. Yeah, she has mentioned a lot of worse food, and I'm sure every household, at least 20 to 25, minimum 25% of the intake is from that worse food.
You know what? Plus our culture also, like Faryal mentioned, you know, we like to feast in when we do iftar. So that is something that is part of the culture, and a lot of
Yeah,
us.
I actually like to hear from people about this, because I really, part of my desire to educate is also about empowering people to think about what they're doing. We've grown up like this, you know, with all these beautiful fried foods at every time. I mean, Ramadan, you know, I would look forward to Ramadan as a young child because of all the amazing foods we're going to get to eat at iftar that we don't eat the rest of the year generally, right? So, you know, and then you have all these pastries and cakes and desserts and jalebis and I don't know what, mithais and all these things. So I really would like to know what people think about this, because this has been our own self-inflicted problem. And we need to think about how we're contributing to our own health problems. So please tell me what you think. I don't want to be like a, you know, laying down the law here, but I have to tell you what's the truth.
Let me give you my example. For example, Surur, I only take 1 banana and half a liter of water only. And trust me,
correct.
I don't feel at all thirsty or hungry at all for the whole day. Instead of me, what I used to take a full plate of a meal. Now for the past few years, I've been just taking banana and water, and really, trust me, it really helps me.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
So we have somebody here who's also promoting an air fryer. So air fryer to the rescue. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great. I think that's great. You know, if you've got an air fryer, absolutely. If it will be definitely a lot healthier, and you can still enjoy certain foods. But I want to encourage people to eat foods that are alive, that are whole produce, that are in season, that are not sprayed with pesticides and not sprayed with herbicides, that are not genetically modified. And so like I do, when we do grocery shopping here, we've done for, many, many years, we actually go shop 2-3 times a week because we only buy what we know we're going to eat for the next 3 days because we eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's a matter of, just kind of really taking a 360 at what you're putting in your body, because whatever you're putting inside your body is telling your body to do something. So are you feeding yourself or are you feeding your disease?
Good point. And I think one of the challenges we have is when you have young kids, right? You want to buy snacks for them and you tend to eat those too because they're there, right? So, we have to start at home. And if we can instill that behavior to the kids from an early age, it'll definitely bear fruits. But it's a challenge in the Western world here where everything is packaged and presented to these kids from the moment they're watching cartoons at an early age. There's adverts of food that is unhealthy.
The media certainly has to take responsibility. This has always been a thorn in my side as well. But I think, who your child is not the one going to the grocery store and buying those things. You are. Who's buying the stuff for the children?
That is
so it starts from a young age. And if you get their taste buds and their palates used to fruits and vegetables from a really young age, they will not be asking for these junky things until they're probably teenagers, because that's kind of a teenage thing to do, right? So, it's just about setting the right foundation from the get-go. And kids also follow what you do. So if you're drinking, I love it when people say to me, oh, but Dr. Faryal, I don't drink, I only drink diet Coke, or I only drink diet Sprite. That's even worse, right? So if you're drinking these fizzy drinks that are not good for you, and then you tell your child you can't, that's not really going to fly.
excellent. There's one question here is, how can people engage and consult with you? So maybe you want to give your email address here. So if they want to reach out to you personally, they can do that. That'll be great.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. And I think we had somebody raise their hand, but I will type that in the meantime.
Oh, is there anyone else who has a question? Please let me know. Yes, Abdul Hamid, you've got your hand, virtual hand. I can see it. Yeah, go ahead. You have to unmute first.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. And Jazakallah khairan for the excellent presentation, Dr. Faryal. Adam Bhai, Jazakallah khairan. So it means that no more samosas and bhajiyas and vitumbuas and things like that, inshallah.
Don't forget the kaimatis. Yeah.
Kaimatis.
Yes, thanks so much for the.
Gosh, you guys are gonna be like, oh my God, she's just ruined our whole Ramadan. No, I'm not saying you can't have those things. I know we're being humorous. I'm not saying we can't. I'm saying we can't have them all the time. We cannot have them every day. We cannot have them in big amounts. Let's save these kinds of, decadent treats for special occasions, like really special occasions. And even then, do you need to eat 15 kaimatis, or can you maybe have 4 and you're good? Using healthy sugars. Is it possible?
Could I interrupt here? I just wanted to check that instead of we frying, can we back and eat? So there's no oily stuff or fried stuff going on there. Samosa, for example.
Yeah, sure. That's a great way. You can certainly bake. Baking is certainly better than deep frying. So anything deep fried is problematic. If you can bake it, if you can grill it, if you can steam it, if you can lightly saute it, that's always better. Air fry if you can. If you can eat it in its raw state, I'm saying salads and fruits and things, that's great. I think we'll have to do a presentation just on sort of my top 10, things as far as nutrition is concerned, because I think people are also using the wrong oils to cook with and to deep fry. And please, all of my aunties and uncles out there, okay, because this is another thorn. Do not use the same oil the next day after you fried something in it. Wallah, this is the worst thing you can do. Please don't do that.
Chief,
Well, that's how we've been brought up, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
today,
So now we have to break the cycle, right?
no,
Slowly,
it's
slowly.
well,
no.
we have to. Somebody has to initiate it.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I want to respect everyone's time here. We're at 2:25. It's been an amazing, amazing discussion. You've been so good, very informative.
Grateful.
And, you know, if there's any other questions, let us know.
Yeah, you
So-
can even just send the messages through the WhatsApp group if you think of something afterwards or any other feedback. You know, great. And hopefully,
Yeah.
Farhan, we can send the recording to those who couldn't make it
Yes.
as well. I just want to quickly say, guys, for me, I appreciate that we've accommodated my iftar time because it's 9 p.m. where I am. So if you've seen me drinking water or whatever, forgive me. I totally didn't keep in my mind that everyone's fasting, but I've finished fasting. So thanks for
That's
understanding.
okay. No, we understand and appreciate you've taken the time to be with us. This session was really, really good. Everyone appreciates it. There's a comment from Nilufar who did a cooking show the previous week, and maybe she can do some healthy cooking shows too. We'll
Fantastic.
and she says the reason she was told to reuse the oil is because she was wasting the oil otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's what we've all been told, but we're actually wasting ourselves, guys.
No,
Nilufar, I'm sorry I missed your show. Maybe we can collaborate on one of the shows and you can do the cooking and I can talk about why it's a good ingredient for our health, something like that.
sounds like a plan. So I want to recognize people who've joined us here. We've got people from the US here. We've got so Mariam Masi is here from the US, Fozia, my sister. We have Anjum Keval as well from the US, Aziza as well. Am I missing anybody else from the US? And I know your family from South Africa is going to join. I haven't seen.
Yeah, unfortunately,
here.
it's smack in the middle of their iftar. So they've just texted me to say it's hard. If we can send the recording, that would be great.
Priorities, definitely. Yeah, food comes first. And we have someone from the UK too, my brother who's joined as well. So, you know,
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, so we've got good coverage. Oh, we've got Akram Keval here as well, who's joined. And Kulsumasi as well, my
I just want to say shout out, hi, assalamu alaikum to my wonderful uncle and aunt there, Mariam Fui and Anwar uncle. So happy to see you guys. Thank you for joining. It's lovely that you joined. Miss you guys. And I'd love to know what your siblings think, actually, Farhan, if they have anything to say all the way from the US.
Oh man, don't get them started. I'll ask Fauzia since you know, or Dr. Fauzia. She doesn't like to be called doctor, but
No doctor
is
here.
our family health advisor. She is on every healthy trend that's out there, and I keep saying that she looks younger than I do, based on what she's been. And you know, so Fauzia, go ahead.
I just want to thank you, Faryal. This is just so much needed for our community. I just hope that we'll hear more from you because we can all benefit. And you know, like Farhan said, I'm quite a nerd at these topics, but I'm not a doctor in it. But so every little information we can gather from you would be so helpful for all of us. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate that. I hope I didn't step on any toes there if you prescribe statins or or other medications.
No,
I'm glad.
I'm a PhD doctor, not a medical doctor.
Okay, cool. even better, even better. Speaking of statins, I just want to tell people if you're taking a cholesterol medication, please take coenzyme Q10, please. You have to take coenzyme Q10. I just want to share that, Pearl, because the cholesterol medication is robbing the body of this very, very vital nutrient that your body, your muscles, your nerves, your brain needs. Yeah.
No, that's great. Is there anybody else who wants to make a comment? And again, I mean, I've got all the time to sit here and listen and talk. You know, other people may have other places to be, but this, you know, we've had great participation today. this was very, very informative. And again, Faryal, I will ask for people to provide topics. I know there was one suggestion with regard to digestive issues, with children and with adults, like constipation and how to deal with that. So that would be probably another topic, because
Yeah, absolutely.
very common these days. Yes, Fawzia, good.
Anjum has said that how to read food labels would also be a great topic. Another one I can think of is that all the hidden names of sugar. There's like over 60 hidden names of sugar. And, for those of us who want to stay away from sugar, our industry uses all kinds of names that we don't recognize. So once we all know, especially our diabetic community too, they need to know all those names. And we go out and buy all these foods with so much sugar in it, we need to be aware of all those names as well.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I've done several presentations, especially on diabetes and cancer and cardiovascular and all of these things. So we can certainly do the food ones as well. I'm busy rakta, I think.
But it's for the betterment of the community. So
I will also
Inshallah, I'm
suggest,
more than happy. More than happy, as long as, like Shakir uncle said, as long as people are going to take the information and apply it. You don't have to do everything, but you got to pick one or two things you learned today and please start applying it. And then you can build from there. It is pointless for all of us to gather and talk about these things and then you're not using it, right? So myself included, like everything I learned from Adam uncle today, it's stuff we already know, but it's such a nice reminder to help us go through the rest of this month, keeping those things in mind. So I just want to encourage people, pick two things you learned today that you can start changing today. Get rid of the sugar. That's number one. Do the sugars I told you that I'm doing.
but I will suggest one thing, that you take a survey within the community and see who is suffering what, so we can inform doctor here, okay, these are the people what they are suffering, and based on the the outcome of what is the best one to present to us.
That's a good suggestion. I think we can always start off with the most common ailments people have, just like Dr. Faryal said, with regard to diabetes, heart health, digestive issues, things that are common. We can start off with that, and then there people will have questions that may be related or sometimes personal. They can ask directly to Dr. Faryal as well, but
Yeah.
we want to make sure
No, there are
that
tons of topics. I mean, I do a lot of hormonal stuff. That's actually my specialty is hormones. Women's hormones, female hormones, insulin is a hormone, thyroid problems. I'm sure a lot of us on here probably have low thyroid function. So anything to do with women's health as well for all the women, which the men should also attend because it's important.
This thing will make her come to Canada soon. Soon often to
I wish
to visit the patients.
Yes.
Inshallah. I do hope we can get through this pandemic quickly because I would love to come home and I would love, as Uncle Alamin said, to address everyone and meet everyone personally. It's just been too long, I've been out of the country for 8 years now.
Yeah.
So I think Mariam Masi, you've got your mute off. You want to say anything? We should be able to hear you. Mariam Masi, you have anything to say?
No.
Technical issues. Okay, no problem.
Oh,
so
you can type it.
Yeah, so there's still comments coming in. This one is the 100 milligram, regardless of how much milligram cholesterol you take. 100 milligram.
I said yes.
Oh, okay, good. You responded. Okay. I'm a bit behind.
I have patients taking up to 300 milligram. So trust me, you've already lost a lot if you've been on cholesterol for a long time. 100 milligrams is not going to be too much.
Okay. Okay, Mariam Masi, I think you're on unmute now. You want to say something?
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam. The connection doesn't look too good. So
Oh, shame. Maybe Mariam Fui can just type it. Oh,
I'll send you messages.
okay.
Thank
So-
you. That was really good.
Thank you so much, Mariam Fui. Really appreciate.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
and I think she says that on behalf of everyone here. We're all really proud of
Shukran.
you. So blessed that you're part of our community, and also Adamba as well. We are really blessed to have you with your knowledge as well to be part of our community. And this is one thing that I'm trying to do, is get our community members to participate more. Inshallah, our next presentation. So we'll have a session for Eid where we'll just meet and greet and wish everyone Eid Mubarak. So we'll have that. And then after that, we will have a session with Kalimba, as well as Atifa was here. So Kalim's going to talk about investments in properties, and Atifa as well will be talking about how to get financing and how to handle your mortgage and stuff like that. So at least we will start off with that. And then we will continue to keep having Dr. Faryal with us, inshallah. We want to make sure that we don't occupy all her weekends, but we'll try and spread it out based on the topics people want to talk about. So again, I think in one way, the pandemic has brought us together virtually from all parts of the world, right? So Dr. Faryal's in Saudi, she can talk to us. Whereas before we would all want, we'd all meet and just have these sessions, but we won't have participations from the rest of the, like in North America, we've got here from Europe. And so let's make the most of this opportunity we have to get people together like this and talk. And the participation we had here says a lot to you, Adamba, to Dr. Faryal. I think we want to keep the momentum going. And if there's anybody else who wishes to also participate in our discussions, let us know. We're always here to educate our community members for the betterment of the community. So if you want to participate, let me know. And we also have Dr. Faryal on our KCA group chat as well. So, she's there too. So if there's any suggestions, anything, you can put them there as well.
Lastly, I would just like to add, please, the Nights of Powers are coming through. Please, let's remember each other. Not only us, even our marhum, especially our parents, our loved ones, please.
That's right. Thank you, Shakir Abbas. Now, last word will come from Farida Bai, who is, like I told you, a big fan of yours. And now we know why, right? So seriously, she is extremely proud of you. So Farida Bai, you want to unmute and just say a few words?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, assalamu alaikum, everybody. It was a
Walaikum
pleasure
Walaikum
seeing
salam.
everybody and so much support to Faryal and our Muslim sort of point of view of our Ramadan. It's very, very interesting. And I'm so proud of our community. We are really forging ahead. And I wish all our children to sort of go ahead and become doctors and help our community and our families. So, and Faryal is half my doctor at home. Whatever she says, I do, I've got one full cabinet of supplements and one of conventional. So you can imagine whatever Faryal is trying with her patients, she'll try with me, So,
And
yeah, so it's been great. I was her what do you call?
Guinea pig. Shame. My whole family was.
Yeah, but remember when you put the 100 needles on my face?
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And I was supposed to wait there for about 40 minutes for our examiners to come and, you know, put her through our exams. And I had to get up half and say, please, can you quickly test me? I have to rush to the bathroom now. I can't wait with so many needles on my face to see where I'm going, you know.
I did a facial acupuncture on my mom. It's a special type of acupuncture to help with rejuvenating and making the face and the skin more youthful and removing wrinkles. And this was years ago. And my poor mom had tons of needles in her face. And right at the moment that I needed her to stay still, she needed to go to the bathroom. So it was really funny. But thanks, Mom. I'm sure for my mom, all of this was review. Unfortunately, you already know I've been pumping all this information into my family for years.
And it's good to, you know, be reminded all the time, right? It's something very important. But yeah, it's good to see our children all progressing, inshallah. And even like, as you all know, Bahar is an aerospace engineer, you know, but she gave up that field because she had a young family, and now she's a, what do you call, a branch manager for Royal Bank. So,
and don't forget, she's a farmer too. So,
and she's a farmer, yeah. And she and her husband are running a farm, and her workers are our 3 boys. So they can't be anywhere except at the farm with every minute available, you know, they're always there. But
hardworking family, yes.
Very hardworking. And my son in Alberta, he is so happy where he is, and he's doing 2 jobs. One is his own and one is, you know, working for somebody. But it's very good to know that he's in a healthy situation and happy. So that's all you want, is your children to be happy in what they are doing, right? You don't force them to do what parents want to do.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
and, yeah, thank you.
Is it your birthday today? I just want to confirm.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Wow. Happy birthday from
Thank you.
from all of us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. So, guys, yeah, let's get together very soon, inshallah. I'm feeling good, so I can join in now. It was a long time when I was quiet, you know, because of my surgery and everything. But inshallah, I hope to see you guys again.
Yeah, may Allah give you shifa.
Ameen.
And I mean, so again, I want
Farhan,
to
can I just quickly,
yes, Faryal,
sorry, just quickly, I just want to say 2 things. Firstly, because it's COVID and it's the pandemic, if there's interest to know what we can do from a natural medicine point of view to help protect ourselves from getting COVID, and also if you choose to get the vaccine, what you can do to ensure that the vaccine is effective, you know, please let me know, because I think that's relevant right now if you're interested in things that are going to be helpful to keep our immune system strong against this thing. And then lastly, I just want to thank you, Farhan, for all of this and bringing us all together. You certainly are the glue of this Jamaat, and you're a beacon for all of us, a beacon of light and hope. And I'm really grateful. Thank you. Alhamdulillah, we had a nice turnout. So shukran to everyone.
Thank you very much, Faryal. You bring up a very good point. I think talking about the COVID and how to build your body's immunity to fight that, or to you know, be prepared for the vaccines, would be an ideal next conversation. So I will liaise with you on when we will do the next date on that. I think that is more relevant right now.
Great.
Okay, with that said, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it. This was amazing, fantastic, and a great turnout. Very happy with the way things went here. And I will now stop the recording.